I'm James.
I'm Jamie.
And we love movies.
Always, always.
Always a jam-packed show, a jam-packed episode this week. What are we talking about? We're talking about Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
You recently went there. And
Yes. Very excited.
You
Freshly back.
You conquered, and you brought back trophies. Yeah, I call them trophies. We're also going to talk about Zombieland Double Tap. That movie just came out to films and theaters this week. So I saw it yesterday, and we will review it. Is it good? Is it better than the first one? Can it be better than the first one? We'll find out. And also, at the end of the show, you don't want to miss, we're speaking to Mark Fitzgerald. He is a scouting, he's a scout, he's a location manager. He's worked on some of the biggest movies that have filmed here in Boston and New England.
Super legit, guys.
Yeah.
Stick around. It's going to be really cool.
But he's legit? How do we get him?
I don't know.
We're
lucky,
we
guess.
got him. So stay tuned for that episode, that interview. You're not going to want to miss that.
But first. Let's... get ready here.
So we have things strewn about the studio.
Yes, you can see it's a little messy in here. It's never messy in here, right?
Okay, so we have some. You went to Disneyland, Disney World.
I don't know how you can tell.
Yeah,
there's,
I feel like we're sponsored by Disney now. We can't talk badly about Disney with all this Disney product placement.
Absolutely we can, but I can still love Mickey Mouse and Porgs.
All right, honestly, Disneyland does not sponsor us. We wish they did.
Yeah,
they don't sponsor us.
We would take your money.
If you're listening to us on iHeart Radio app or Spotify or the iTunes podcast, we have a studio with even more Disney attire. We have a Mickey Mouse mini hat. I'm wearing a Slinky hat.
He's got a
on
Slinky
my head.
dog. We now have a matching pair of Porgs. Matching pair of Porgs.
Porg power activate.
Woo!
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, Mickey PhilharMagic here, and I've got my Mickey Mouse mug.
We're adults.
We are totally adults.
We are
and
adults.
This is the best thing. Hang on one second, James. What's that? What's that? Raylo's Real?
The mic's over here.
Raylo's Real? Oh, awesome. Can you see? Can we see what we've got here?
Yeah.
This is nice, beautiful.
Just more Kylo Ren merch. Cell phone
case.
Cell phone covering.
With my name in Arubesh. Okay?
Arubesh.
Okay, let me just tell you a quick story. So
really quick. So let's back up a little bit. So you went to Disney World,
I went to Disney World.
She went to Disney World.
Yes.
Okay. And you hadn't been in a while, or do you often go when you visit family?
I hadn't been in a while. You know, I grew up I was a Florida resident, so we would go multiple times a year, which was a really great deal. Don't have so much of a great deal anymore. But yes, this was the first time we've gone since my son was born.
And the first time since they've opened.
And the first time since they've opened Galaxy's Edge. So I got to go there for the very, very first time. But we went in to go meet the characters. They have a landing bay area where you can meet like the characters and stuff like that. Unfortunately, my 4-year-old was too afraid to meet Darth Vader.
How can he be your son? How can he be your son then?
Oh, you gotta give him time.
He's a Padawan. He's a Padawan.
Exactly. But then we ended up in a gift shop.
By design.
By design. And so they had these phone cases, right? Uh-huh. I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend money on it. I'm just kind of scrolling through like the cases they have. I'm like, I don't know. And then I saw a maskless Kylo Ren here, and I'm like, that one, I need it. I'm like hitting the screen.
First you said, where's the shirtless one? And they're like, ma'am, this is a family park. Like, okay, fine. Where's the maskless one?
And I'm like hitting the screen, and I'm so embarrassed because this lady comes over and she's like, okay, you got to hit this button first. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I really like.
You need to breathe. Calm down.
Adam Driver and Kylo Ren. She's like, it's okay, ma'am. I like him too. And she took me through all of the steps, and I'm like beet red and whatever, but I got it, and it's got my name in Arubesh, so
nice.
But yeah, so we did eventually make it to the Galaxy's Edge part, which is in the back of the park after I took my son to all the other rides and all of that stuff. And because I wanted to be immersed in it, James, I wanted it to be an experience.
Did you
so
go
this is like
up?
our last stop. No, but I did see. Unfortunately, we were flying Spirit Airlines. And we didn't have a lot, we were trying to pack light because we didn't want to pay all the money. But, so I didn't have a costume. But I did see a few people who did. And I did see, like, a mother who was dressed as Rey with her kid. And I was so jealous. And she was beautiful. And I wish I could have talked to her. But then I saw a little boy dressed as Kylo Ren. And, they have stormtroopers that are walking all over Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And the stormtroopers came up to this little boy and they're like, yes, little boy, like the Supreme Leader approves of you, welcome to the First Order and all of this stuff. And it's really cute and awesome. But, you walk in there and you have to go through like this tunnel and you emerge into Batu, which is a planet as of yet not seen. Maybe we will see it in the next movie, but it's really immersive. And we went to a lot of the Disney parks, plenty of those lands are immersive, but this one was really immersive. I mean, they did a really great job. Everything around you makes you feel like you're in the Star Wars universe. And I didn't want to look at the map because I kind of wanted to feel like, ooh, I'm a resistance fighter and I'm on Batu and I heard the Millennium Falcon's here somewhere. We got to find it. And so that's what we did. And we eventually found the Millennium Falcon, which is the only ride that's open right now. And it was just spectacular. It was, life-size replica over the people. You had to, the line was so long for the actual Millennium Falcon ride. It was under the Millennium Falcon. So we got to, go under it and all this stuff. And Chewbacca's walking around and meeting people.
Nice.
But my kid was too scared to meet Chewbacca.
Oh, no. You've raised your son on Star Wars, haven't you?
I know, I tried. He's 4. He's little, It's a few more years. We'll go back in a few more years, and this won't be a problem.
Okay, we hope so.
But the ride itself, James, really cool because it's interactive because you are actually controlling the movements of the Millennium Falcon. The mistake that we made was that, you need 2 pilots, 2 gunners, and 2 engineers, right? And it takes you through like this adventure and you're trying to you're shooting bad guys, you're trying to steal the fuel, I forget the name of the fuel, or something like that. And the mistake we made was, this could be a smooth ride or this could be a very bumpy ride. Depending on, what you actually do with the controls.
And how good you are.
And our 4-year-old was the pilot. So it was a
bold choice.
Very
bold
bumpy
choice.
ride. It was a very bumpy ride. But a very exciting. You're walking through the halls of the Millennium Falcon. Everything looks movie realistic.
How much time do you get to, sit at that chessboard piece, with that seat?
Not
How much
long.
time? Yeah, because I would imagine you wouldn't have that much time because you have 1,000 more people behind you.
Right. So it wasn't that long, but it was long enough to get pictures, James.
Yeah.
Here's one. It was so cool. So I got to sit there at the at the table and play the game that Chewie played in the movies and all of that and take some nice pictures.
Nice.
But highly recommend it. Very immersive, great shopping. Everything is wicked expensive, so please save your money.
Yeah, because not only is it Star Wars merchandise, it's Disney merchandise.
No, yes. They took so much of my money, and I know that I complain, and I know that Disney can be like an evil conglomerate sometimes, James.
But they also do so much good, and that's the that's the struggle.
I want to give them my money.
Yeah.
I want to.
You want to give them the money at the moment, and then after
sport.
you left, you're like, wait a minute. Okay, actually, it may have been worth it still, even after the point. I was joking that when I go, I want to buy. I want to make my own lightsaber, and I want to buy an actual legit replica lightsaber. My mom, who was at the table, and I was telling my other family members, she looked at me like, "You want to buy a lightsaber for how much money?" I'm like, "I'm a grown adult." With my own money, and if I want to buy a lightsaber, I want to buy 2 lightsabers out of spite.
You've got disposable income, and no kids right now, so go for it, dude. Now is the time. But so the lightsaber experience, $200.
Were you able to make one, or do you skip that?
I skipped that, but. You go through the whole process. It's like a show in and of itself.
I believe I asked you to bring back at least 1 lightsaber.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a Rey double lightsaber.
The double red Sith lightsaber.
Well, I guess, I don't know, maybe I don't know.
If you've got a red marker, I can draw you one right now. But so when you're making it, they take you through the experience. You pick all the pieces. You assemble your own. It's really cool. You get your own kyber crystal, and you can choose to be light side, dark side. I think that experience is worth $200 for sure. I mean, when I have it, next time, then I will. And there's also the droid workshop, you can assemble and build your own astromech droid. Also was not able to do that. However, I did go in and watch people do that. And so they line you up on this long conveyor belt that's very reminiscent of Bespin, like Cloud City, when C-3PO got blown into a million pieces, and there was the conveyor belt going along. So you can pick all of the different pieces. You can assemble any kind of combination of these pieces, and then they take you to a part where they put them all together, and that's $100. And I think that's also worth it. So,
yeah, because they actually move and beep and do stuff, right?
They work, and then once you've got your droid, you can go outside, and they have like a little area where you can like fight them or run them around, like a whole little area for that. And it was great. It was really, really great. You can get blue-green milk at the food place there, and I mean...
Because I heard that the strength of Galaxy's Edge, both at Disney World and at Disneyland in Anaheim, the strength is how immersed you are in this world, how detailed everything is.
Yes,
the weaknesses I've heard are example for the rides. As you mentioned, there's only one ride open right now. The line's long. Everything's expensive. So those are the weaknesses. But if you're a diehard Star Wars fan, which I am, I still fully intend to go immerse myself, wait in those long lines. Because how often can you walk under or right by the Millennium Falcon?
You never. And it's movie realistic. Everything is movie realistic. And you've got Chewie there. You've got the troopers. You've got, I didn't see a Kylo and Rey. But from what I've heard is you've got like Kylo walking around. And he's like, spread out, find them.
You're supposed to say,
like that.
You're supposed to yell out, "Hey, it's Luke Skywalker!" And then Kylo Ren will pop out like, "Where is he? Where is that guy?"
Damn it, I should have. And then Rey's like walking, like sneaking around.
No, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is true, but I've heard this online and I've seen pictures online where somebody, if they go to Disneyland and they see, like, say, Woody or Buzz from Toy Story, and they say, "Andy's coming," the kid. And then the characters, Woody and Buzz, they like drop down to the floor to pretend they're toys.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
Oh, I wish I'd known that.
I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard it. I've seen pictures, but again, that's all internet stuff.
Oh, I wish I'd known that. We were in Toy Story Land for a while.
Yeah, so if you yell out, "Andy's coming," the toys they drop. The characters, the actors, they drop.
I feel so bad for them because it was so hot. I mean, it's the middle of October and it's still in the 90s. They have to have. They must have cool suits. Some kind of suit air conditioning system,
or some kind of water filtration. no, I'm gonna say some water filtration system that they have for NASCAR drivers. Because I know
they have to, or else they'd be dead.
One thing I'm really impressed by with Disney is that even with the Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Donald Duck, they have like their eyes now blink. And everything, and they could do that. So if they have blinking eyeballs, theoretically they should have some sort of cooling system so their actor doesn't pass out.
It was so awesome, James. I was so happy. I gave them so much money, but everything that you said, all that stuff. So we got to get. You've got to go. You've got to go eventually. So at some point we'll get you there.
Okay, awesome.
But that's not the only Star Wars news.
No, there is never just one thing, one Star Wars news item.
This should just be the hub on Star Wars. Next Monday, October 21st, depending on when you're listening to this, it may or may not have already happened. The next trailer,
the final trailer, right? Is it the final trailer?
I don't know that it's the final trailer. It's the second trailer. It might be the final trailer, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, because the movie comes out in December,
right?
And so we're
so close.
We're mid-ish November, or past mid-November, October. And so I feel like if this isn't the last trailer, it's the second to the last.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to see in this one? Because what we saw in the previous one, kind of retracing, is we saw Kylo and we saw Rey fighting on this water planet, presumably on the Death Star that crashed down to this planet.
A lot of antagonism.
Yeah. What else did we see? We saw, we've seen pictures from, what was it, Time Magazine or The Hollywood Reporter? I forget. But we've seen a base, a station base where Kylo's trying to stand the force of something pushing back stormtroopers right behind him.
Withstanding the force of Rey.
So what would you like to see in this new trailer?
What I'd like to see in this new trailer, honestly, I don't want to see much.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a better idea of what this is happening. And I think a lot of Reylos are not going to agree with me. They're like, we want proof. We want to see something about that relationship. I don't want to see anything. We want to be spoiled before the movie comes out, basically. Yeah, exactly. Like I honestly, like, keep it as vague as humanly possible. Maybe more Poe, more Finn, more Rose.
Yeah, what are those guys doing, right?
All of that. But I don't want to see anything.
I'm team Finn and team
plot.
Poe.
Yeah, I know
go
who
those
you
guys
are.
for some reason.
Yeah,
we need to talk more about those two people.
Yeah, but they're awesome. I know they're awesome characters too, and they all play a part in this this huge finale of this tremendous saga.
Would you like to get a more hinting at Darth Sidious at Palpatine's return? Would you like to see more of that groundwork being laid out?
I wouldn't mind that. But I want to be as, I want to be as surprised. There we go, as possible. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually not hoping for much. And so this is coming out Monday Night Football. I think that I'm not going to be around for it. So do you want to watch it like live, like just the two of us? Like we not watch it when it comes out?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Can you control yourself?
I can control myself. Again, I love Star Wars. I'm dying to learn more, but I love the movies so much that I'm willing to put off or even delay watching a trailer or two.
Well, you know what, James? Because I don't want to know the plot in particular, but I know some people do, and I think that I've discovered a way to discover the plot. Mm. Yeah. So this is an exclusive, guys, in case you don't know. So real quick, I have this highly scientific method for discovering.
Did you find this in the Jedi Temple ruins?
Discovering the plot, and I wanted to give it a quick shot here before we move on. So,
we're looking at Mad Libs. In case you're listening.
In case you're listening, I may or may not have also gotten a Star Wars Mad Lib, and I think that this is going to help us. This is going to tell us exactly what's going on.
Clearly, this is the most scientific way to
find out the plot. So, James, I need a noun.
A noun.
Person, place, or thing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Let's see. A Tatooine.
Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. It doesn't have to be Star Wars related, by the way.
Okay.
An adjective.
Shiny.
Okay. All right. I like it. Another noun.
I will say an X-Wing fighter.
X-Wing fighter. Okay. X-Wing fighter. A plural noun.
A plural noun. Okay. Let's see. Jedi.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Verb ending in ing. Also known as a verbal.
Okay. Let's go with no. Let's see. Don't give me hints. I'm gonna come up with my own story. Let's see. An action. Let's see. I'll just say running. Keep it simple.
Okay. Running.
How about force running?
Okay. Force.
Ooh.
Force. Running.
So you know they're running really fast.
Adjective.
There's
a few more here. People, hang with us.
Confusing.
Okay. Confusing. Adverb. Adding to an action.
Let's see. Quickly? Is that a...
Yeah. That works.
Is that a good one?
That's a good one. Okay. Adjective.
Let's see.
2 more adjectives, please.
Jeez. Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. This is part of the game. 2 more adjectives. Wildly.
Wildly. Okay.
And 1 more adjective?
Yeah.
Gently.
Oh, okay. All right. A plural noun.
Let's see. Plural noun. Death Stars. Multiple Death Stars.
Okay, Death Stars.
Because what would a Star Wars movie apparently be without Death Stars?
So fucking many. Okay.
I love that.
2 nouns.
2 nouns. Okay. Ewok.
Okay.
An Ewok.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with... I'm trying to think of something from the prequels. Let's see. We got to bring back the prequels somehow. I'm going to say a Gungan.
We're on the same brainwave. Right. I was going to say, what kind of alien is Jar Jar? Mm-hmm. All right. Last name of a person in the room. We go with Rojas.
We could go. Yeah, let's go Rojas.
All right, let's go. All right. And a verb.
Last one. Last verb. I'll say Slaying.
Slaying.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna
Are
find
you
out
ready?
the plot for what's the movie?
The Rise
of
of
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
This is the plot, exclusive plot reveal of the Rise of Skywalker. Take it away.
Okay, here we go. As Tatooine Sidious, Sith Lord and shiny leader of the Galactic Empire, I know firsthand how powerful the dark side of the Force is. If you become a Sith, an X-Wing fighter who uses the dark side of the Force, you'll have all the power of the Jedi and more. Unlike the Jedi, who only work with the light side of the Force, the Sith can use the dark side to stop the Jedi he or she loves from Force running. Period. Okay. Maybe there'll be some Force running.
Force running, Force catching, Force chasing.
There was supposed to be Force running in the Last in the Last Jedi. We did not see that. The Jedi would never try such a confusing thing. This is confusing. It's obvious to anyone who has studied the dark side that it is more powerful than the Jedi could quickly imagine. The Jedi might tell you that the dark side is quicker, easier, more wild.
It's totally wild, bro.
I admit that may be true, but those who join the dark side will know gently power beyond their wildest Death Stars. Like me and my Ewok, Darth Rojas, those who practice the dark side of the Force are destined to rule the Gungan. Join us, or slaying. I don't think I want to roll the Gungans, honestly.
No.
So, that sounds a little strange.
It does sound a little strange.
I mean, dark side versus light side, but, aiming to rule over the Gungans. I don't know if I want to see that movie, James.
Well, that's what we're gonna get. That's the plot. We have no choice.
Plot.
That's the movie.
Exactly
you don't
what
like
it
The Last
is.
Jedi?
And you
Tough
heard it
luck.
here first.
You don't like this movie? Tough luck. That's what we're gonna get.
We'll try again next time. All right. Anyways, thank you for listening to The Hub on Hollywood. You can hear us here on YouTube or on the iHeartRadio app, a few other places.
Also Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So, yeah, go into iTunes, and you could pretty much find us on any major streaming platform. You're going to find The Hub on Hollywood. Just search The Hub on Hollywood. Yeah, and now we have, how many? We have all of our episodes on there.
Are up and live.
So if you can't watch us, if you're driving around or if you're at home or whatnot, and you can't watch us, you can go ahead and listen to us.
Yay!
You can fall asleep to us. You can wake up to us. How amazing would that be?
However creepy you want to be within limits. Anyways, James.
and also don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Hub on Hollywood. Also follow Jamie and I, Jay Blanco WBZ, James Rojas WBZ.
Cool.
Don't miss an episode.
Or we'll use the Force.
Or use the Force on you.
Lightning. I would like to see Force lightning. Not in the trailer, but in the movie.
In the movie?
Yeah,
definitely. We need to bring it back, because I think the last time we saw Force lightning was in the prequels. I mean, not in the order of the series, but in the prequels was with Yoda fighting Palpatine. Right. That's the last time we saw it.
Yeah, and I don't want it from Palpatine. I want it from Rey.
No, actually, I take that back. We saw Force lightning with Snoke in The Force Awakens when he shot...
Oh, yeah, the little bit of...
Yeah, and that one thing that was different from his use of Force lightning as compared to Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious sent the lightning directly to Luke and Vader, as opposed to Snoke. If you watch it again, he actually sends the lightning down through the ground. It travels, and then it pops up and hits Kylo. So it's a different way of using it. It's still
interesting.
Still Force.
Maybe he didn't want to kill him. Or...
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's pretty cool.
All right. Excuse you.
My pen.
Here's your pen.
Pen back. Yeah, because I need this pen to...
It's a really nice pen.
It's a very nice pen.
Okay.
Very nice click. But yeah,
Zombieland.
with this pen, I took a lot of notes on this new movie that we are reviewing, Zombieland Double Tap. This is 10 years after the first Zombieland that came out in 2009. Yeah. But this is great. We have the same cast, the original cast returning: Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin, as well as some new actors, some new characters. Plot of this, well, let me just backtrack really quick. Zombieland Double Tap, rated R. The plot, 10 years have passed since the first movie. Little Rock, who is played by Breslin from Little Miss Sunshine, she's now grown up. She's older. She's more rebellious. She wants to hang out with more people her own age. She's kind of feeling constricted with with this family of hers right now, which include Columbus, Tallahassee, and Wichita. And so she, things happen, and then she leaves. And Columbus, played by Eisenberg, Wichita, played by Stone, and Tallahassee, played by Harrelson, they must search and find her, and then things ensue. So I really like. I did like this movie. My review right off the bat is that if you liked Zombieland, the first one, I believe you will enjoy this one. This is entertaining. It's a popcorn eating film that you can just turn your brain off. While the zombies eat brains, you can just turn yours off. Yeah. You'll be fine. It's entertaining. If you enjoyed, again, as I mentioned, if you enjoyed the first one, you'll just fall right back into this one. Zombieland isn't, as with the first one, this isn't a horror movie. It's more of a comedy in a world of zombies. Right. And so they bring more of that humor, that ridiculous, zany stuff back with the characters. Yeah. The strengths of this film, the original and new cast members, they nail the roles. They're fantastic. Yeah. Even though it's been 10 years, the original cast, they jump right back into those characters that we enjoyed and had so much fun with the first time around. These characters, they know who they're playing. They know, what gets on their nerves and what makes them quirk and what makes them what gets on their nerves, and they fall right back into place. The new characters are also a lot of fun. We have Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch. They're coming in. They're kind of playing the opposite of Harrelson and Eisenberg. And so they come in. Rosario Dawson, she's also in this film. She plays this Elvis Presley fanatic. Okay. Yeah, she's an Elvis Presley fan. So is Harrelson's character, and so that's how they both connect and find common ground. This other character named Madison. She's played by Zoe Deutsch. I think that's how you pronounce Deutsch, Dutch or Deutsch. Zoe Deutsch. She steals every scene she's in. Yeah. Her character's Madison. She's a little airheady, but she's a survivor and hilarious. I think she has some of the best and the funniest lines in the whole movie, and so she steals everything away. I really enjoyed this movie. The only weakness or con to this movie that I can give some criticism to is that they rely really heavily on CGI. A lot of CGI, a lot of impractical effects, and even though you're watching them, through various scenes attack or destroy or kill zombies, just the way they appear, for me, it kind of removed all the stakes of any fear of oh crap, here's this new type of zombie that is a bigger threat as compared to the what we saw before. But still at the same time, the graphics, they're not bad, but there's so much use of it that it kind of took it. It kind of took me out at certain places. But
that's
overall,
always a danger.
Yeah, that is always a danger.
Kind of film.
Yeah, if you rely too heavily on CGI. But I really enjoyed this one. Did you watch the first one?
I did not watch the first one, but I was going to ask you. So, if you are a zombie movie enthusiast, or maybe you haven't seen any, how does this film, the sequel and the prequel, measure up to other zombie films or franchises?
Well, that's an interesting question, just because when Zombieland first came out in 2009, it came during the height of zombie movies and zombie culture and pop culture, and was right at the crest of right before the downfall of the zombie the zombie culture, the zombie themed shows and TV stuff. Here it's 10 years later. We've kind of seen what's happened with The Walking Dead and the decline in popularity. They actually poke fun of The Walking Dead in this movie.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
I love that.
So they do poke fun of it. So even though we've passed the zombie craze and that zombie wave, I think this still has a place in the zombie culture. It's still really funny. Again, the cast is great. The storyline is very, very simple enough. Basically, Little Rock, she goes because she wants to find something different. That puts her in danger, of course, and then her family has to go find her. That's the basic plot, but it's simple enough to to move along the story.
One last question for you. Is there anyone in this film that has a name that is not a city? Because that's bothering me.
No, everybody has is named after a city or a state, and I actually like that a lot. That's one of the things that I like in this post-apocalyptic world. The reasoning for that is because they don't want to get attached to these new people that they meet, because they could literally die the next day or even that same day that they meet. And so,
what would your name be? What city?
It would either be I was born as a kid, Pomona, Chino, and then Whittier. I may go Whittier just because that's where I used to live. So I might go Whittier.
Well, I think that I would probably go with. Well, I was born in Hialeah, Florida. Grew up in Miami.
Say that again.
Hialeah.
Hialeah.
That's where I was born, which is like North Miami-Dade County. It's also known as Northern Cuba. And I grew up in Miami, but I also grew up in an area called La Sahuesera, which is southwest Miami-Dade County.
Yeah.
So I would be Sahuesera, I think, but no one would be able to pronounce that. So
yeah, you should just go by Miami.
Just go by Miami.
Yeah, that's an awesome name.
All right.
Yeah, actually, Whittier is kind of bad. I would just adopt L.A. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
That sounds cooler.
I'll be Miami.
Whittier. Yeah, Miami.
Okay.
No,
perfect.
but I recommend Zombieland. Okay. So for yourself, again, it's not a horror. It's not gonna spook you out or anything. It's a funny comedy movie. So I recommend that.
All right,
and if you get around to it, double tap. Not bad.
Woo! All right. Excellent. Well. Thank you for that review, James.
I tried.
Thank you for all of it. It's just, we're just so awesome. But speaking of awesome, we've got a really great interview for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting to be talking to Mark Fitzgerald, location scout, who has been responsible for helping with a number of extremely popular films that have been recorded here in the New England area and abroad and, further beyond. Can't wait to ask him our questions. So here we go, guys. Thanks.
Our interview with Mark Fitzgerald. All right, we are speaking with Mark Fitzgerald. He is a location manager and scout here in Boston. And thank you so much, Mark, for joining us on the Hub on Hollywood. Really appreciate it.
No problem, guys. It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. Well, let's start off real quick with some introductions. Mark, just tell us a little bit about yourself, some of the films you've worked on, and what it is that you do.
Okay. So Mark Fitzgerald. I grew up in Framingham, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. I went to Emerson College.
Oh, me too.
Nice. Emerson alum. I love it. So anyway, I'm a location manager. I started out as a locations PA on the Crucible way back when, shot up on Hog Island in Ipswich. And I scout locations and now manage feature films and commercials, mostly feature films in and around the Boston area. Some of the bigger shows I've worked on, like the Crucible was big. Daniel Day-Lewis, Winona Ryder. Starting off with name dropping, probably not a good way.
It's okay. Drop as many as you want.
Drop all the names, please.
It's funny. Anyway, so I did Good Will Hunting. I did The Departed. I did Mystic River. I wasn't a manager on those. I was kind of starting out back then. I worked for a guy, Charlie Harrington, who's kind of my mentor in the movie business. I'm sure you've heard the name in and around Boston. So yeah, Mystic River, Departed, and then I did The Town, and let's see, a whole bunch of Adam Sandler movies, and on they go. I just finished up doing Wonderland, which is a Mark Wahlberg film. It's going to come out next year. And so it's been good. It's been busy.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but also Free Guy, right? With Ryan Reynolds.
Right,
yeah, Free Guy. We just wrapped Free Guy in August, and we were running around the financial district on weekends all summer long trying to get that done. That comes out next year as well. Disney should be big.
Awesome. So what is it that you do for these productions?
Okay, so here's how it goes. Typically, they will send me a script, okay? So I'll get the script, I'll read it a couple times, I'll break it down, I'll make a list. So in a typical film, let's say there's 50 locations in a typical movie. So from those 50 locations, the production designer wants to see, somewhere between 20 and 30 options for each location. So now you got like 30 times 50. That's a lot of places to scout. So it starts out with me, and then I'll add scouts. And by the time we start filming, there's probably 10 or 12 people in my department. But a typical scenario, and this is kind of the example I give people, say there's a bowling alley in the movie, right? So I'll go out and take pictures of 10 or 12 bowling alleys. I'll show them to the production designers, kind of the first person you need to get on board. I'll go through the 10 or 12 folders with them. The designer will weed it down to, say, 3 or 5. We'll go to those 3 or 5. Then they'll weed it down to maybe 2 that we then bring the director to. Ideally, in a perfect world, the director picks one of the 2 locations. So once the bowling alley is picked, then it becomes logistics. And it's all about permits and contracts and where are we going to park 25 18-wheelers? Where are we going to park 200 extras and process them and feed them and all that kind of jazz, put them through hair, makeup, wardrobe. So it just becomes, once all the locations are picked, it becomes kind of a logistical game. And bring everything out.
And after you pick a location, how often are residents, citizens who either work or live in the area, how often do they either respond negatively or positively?
Yeah, it's mostly positive. As you know, living in Boston, the biggest thing is parking.
Yes.
All they want to know is if they can park in front of their house, But like typically, like if we're going to shoot a triple decker in Dorchester, part of the city's requirements to give us the permits is that we have to do like a sidewalk meeting and we have to flyer all the residents in the area. So we will go out and literally flyer all the houses within maybe 4 or 5 block radius. And in the flyer, there'll be a time and a date where we will literally stand on the corner and have a sidewalk meeting with all the abutters and the residents and talk them through what we're doing and keep them informed. People just want to be informed. It's their neighborhood and we're guests in their neighborhood. And we realize that, and we're not looking to come in and push people around, and it's not like that at all. We want to work hand in hand with the residents and the businesses and come in and get the shots we need and get out of there. And 9 times out of 10, it turns into a block party, and people are out on their front lawns and waving and getting pictures taken. And every now and again, you're going to get somebody that just doesn't want it, but that's probably the same person that doesn't want the Christmas parade. You know what I mean? So
right. Yeah, there's always one.
There's always a couple. You know what I mean? You can't please them all the time. You do the best you can. But we reach out, and I find that 9 times out of 10, people just want to be in on the joke. They want to be informed. They want to be respected, and that's what we do. We respect them and inform them.
Awesome.
Now here on the Hub on Hollywood, we like getting the word out there when there are casting calls. Try to get people that are interested in the industry if they want to get on screen or even in the background. For those that may be curious about getting their own property put into a movie, how does someone go about renting out their place or getting a film shot at their location?
Well, interesting question. Good question. I think that people have reached out to me in the past, and I'll go and shoot their houses if they've got a big mansion on the water or a great old Victorian house on Ashmont Hill or something like that. I think a lot of times you could reach out to either the city or the state film office, and then the film office could put you in touch with myself or another scout in Boston. I guess that would be my answer, is to reach out to the film office, and then they could probably best direct you, Also, the local IATSE, the 481, they have a list of all the location guys. So, we're always looking to build the, build the library. You know what I mean? So if somebody calls me or emails me and wants me to come shoot their house, I'd be happy to come do it.
So if I send you some photos of my apartment, it's in Medford on the second level, great view of the block.
Sounds interesting.
No, it doesn't sound that. He's not interested.
It's okay.
Go tomorrow. We'll get it done.
Okay. All right. So I have a question. So we've got so many. It just seems like there are so many more films that are coming to New England. What is it about our area that attracts those big stars and those big productions?
Yeah, another good question. When I first started doing films, it was like 2 movies a year, and they would come for exteriors and then run off and go to Canada or back to LA. The number one game changer is the tax credit, and there's just no 2 ways around it. There's many scripts. They could easily cross out Boston and write in Atlanta or New Orleans or Chicago or any of these other cities. So the number one reason is the tax credit. It's the most important piece of the film industry in Boston and in Massachusetts. That being said, Boston and Massachusetts, both, particularly Boston, have like a very unique look where it has the old and the new. You go down to Copley Plaza and you've got the glass Hancock building right next to the Trinity Church and the Copley Plaza and the library all right there. In one shot, you can get the old and the new. It's got a very unique look to it. And we have the change of seasons. You know what I mean? You can get summer, fall, you can get all the seasons here as well, which is, you got a lot of movies that take place over the course of a year, and you need that change of season. But again, so the two top ones, and the tax credit being far and away the number one reason, but also Boston just got great looks. It's got great locations. It's got a great look. It's a great old city.
Now, what do you think would most people find surprising about your job? Do you have any interesting stories or anything you remember about a particular scouting gig?
Yeah, it's just my favorite part of the job is the scouting. That's the fun part at the beginning when you're driving around with the designer and the director taking pictures, and that's the fun part. Once you've found all the locations and you got to start contracting, and then it kind of becomes work. Interesting stories. Of course, now I'm going blank. They're a dime a dozen. I think some of my favorite stories are shooting at Fenway when we did The Town. Mm-hmm. And there's 2 times that I had the privilege of shooting at Fenway. Was back in 2004 when they won it for the first time. We were doing Fever Pitch.
Nice.
That was with the Farrelly brothers. And it was the most amazing thing because they literally changed the script to match what was going on. Like nobody thought the Red Sox.
Yeah.
86 years, right? So who thought that it was going to happen that year? But that was kind of a magical summer, and I had a laminated pass to Fenway for the whole thing and could come in and out and go to all the games. And we shot all the games and filmed there at night, and it was incredible. And then when we went for The Town, 5 years later, it was kind of a different set of circumstances. They were shooting the robbery and all that. But again, like I think that kind of sticks out as my favorite location and the best place to shoot in Boston.
That's wonderful. Like, some people might say, hey, this might be the kind of career that I'm interested in. Maybe they don't want to be on screen, but doing this kind of thing behind the scenes. What would you say is the best way to get into this kind of profession?
Well, I think you're right. I think a lot of people that end up behind the screen, behind the scenes, thought that they were going to be the star one day, But one of the best ways to get in is there's a company called Central Booking. And this company, it's like a temp service for PAs and people that are just starting out in the business. So that's how I joined, and that's how I got into the film business, and that's how most of the people I know got in. Central Booking, I'm sure you can find it online, but it's like a temp service for production people. And I think, I don't know what it is these days. When I joined, it was like $40 or $50 a month. and you sign up, and when companies are coming in and doing commercials and films and looking for PAs and office people, they reach out to Tim Van Patten, who runs the company. And so that's how I got in. So I think that is still kind of a great way, you know, like I didn't have an uncle or a father or a brother that was in the business. So I didn't know anybody when I started, and I started with Tim. And, you know, it's a good way to meet people and do different jobs and kind of figure out what you like, you know.
Now I'm curious. Are there? Because again, you mentioned several locations in Boston, including Copley Square, where you know the you kind of get a mix of old and new Boston. What's one overrated location that filmmakers love going to repeatedly, and what's one underrated that you personally think hasn't been getting that much love or attention?
Okay, God, good question.
So we'll start with overrated. Yeah.
I'm gonna get in trouble here if I say something. Yeah. I think that.
Or you could give a general answer if you don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I think places that people go a lot that are used all the time. Everybody loves to go to Charlestown. Everybody loves to go to the North End. So these are places that if you ask the residents, they'd probably say that they're overshot. And as far as underrated, I think the Seaport is probably the new playing ground because of all the new buildings and everything's new down there, and it hasn't been captured on film yet. So I think that's the next big thing to break into is shoot some scenes down in the new Seaport, because it's really like, I mean, you guys have been down there. It's a whole new section of Boston, and it's kind of it's all new, doesn't have any old really, and it looks different. It's got a whole different look. So I would say underrated Seaport, overrated. I'd rather change that to overused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overused might be, you know, your Charlestowns and your North Ends, and but again, they're overused for a reason because they're spectacular. I mean, like they're just
Thinking of curse.
North End, like the North End looks like it was built on a back lot. It's like it's literally like, you know, it's
And it's historically preserved and all that.
It's amazing. The small little streets and the buildings and the people, you know, like everything about the North End is just like kind of, I don't want to say lost in time because it's not lost in time, but it's just like, it's special. It's just special.
Yeah, and honestly, I've been, I guess, as a reporter, I'm sent all over Boston and New England, and especially in the North End. And I love taking photos, pictures, and so you can literally point a camera in any direction over there, and you get a beautiful shot.
Yeah,
and you can't lose. You can't lose.
Mm-hmm.
And the coastline we have here too is rather
Yeah,
spectacular.
that's another thing. Again, like I said, with Massachusetts, you get so many. You have ocean, you have seasons. You go out west, you have mountains. You have apple orchards. You've got it all. Like you could shoot any movie here. You know what I mean? You have every different look that a movie maker could want. You know, so that's one of the things people love about it. You know what I mean? It's just cinematically gorgeous.
Oh,
awesome! Well,
I'm sure people will love to hear that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, let me ask you.
It's true. It's just true. You know. Anyway.
Well, let me ask you before we let you go, is there anything that we may be forgetting to ask that you think our listeners or viewers would find interesting or important about your line of work or about shooting in the area?
I just think that I remember when I first started doing this, and you would come around the corner with trailers and movie stars, and everybody would be in awe, and it was all new. And now it's kind of like old hat, you know what I mean? So I think everybody kind of enjoys it. I think the residents like it. I think the businesses like it. I think at the end of the day, everybody does well from it. It's great economically for the city of Boston and for the state. And if you get a big movie like Good Will Hunting, for years and years, tour buses would go by the L Street Tavern. They still do, for all I know. But you get a big movie like that, and you can't even calculate the dollars that brings into a state because of tourism. And anyway, I love what I do, and I just hope it continues and they keep the credit. And like I said, it's been really busy and great.
You see that continuing?
I do, as long as they keep the tax credit in place, which I think they're going to. I think everybody kind of gets it at this point that it's a good thing. You know what I mean? I'm sure you could run the numbers and skew it if you wanted to be negative against it. But I know at the end of the day, like I said, you get a big hit movie and you just cannot calculate dollars in travel and tourism when people want to come and get on their tour bus and go by all the Good Will Hunting locations and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like you can't calculate how much money that is.
All right.
Awesome. Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us on the Hub on Hollywood. Where can people find you? Where can they call you if they want to scout? How do people find you?
Unless you don't want to be found.
Unless you don't want to be found.
Number here, but if somebody wants a location or a house that they want shot and put on file in my library, you could reach out to the film office through the city or through the state, and they can track me down.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Awesome.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for your time. We really, really do appreciate it, and hopefully, maybe in the future, we can, talk to you again.
All right, anytime, guys, anytime. Thank you very much.
Well, this was the Hub on Hollywood. Thank you so much for tuning in. A big thanks to Mark Fitzgerald
for joining
us, stopping by and talking to us. And I think we learned a lot.
We did learn a lot. That was super interesting.
Yeah, very useful information for people also interested in the industry. And
absolutely. And to have those kinds of stories and for that to be like your day job is like, yeah, I was hanging out at Fenway Park with Justin Timberlake or whatever. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Was Justin Timberlake and Fever
Pitch?
No, it was
that's
Jimmy
the other
Fallon.
There we go.
Jimmy Fallon
Wrong baseball movie, sorry. But still, that's so cool.
But still, so tune in next week for a new episode of the Hub on Hollywood.
Yeah.
If you liked us, please please share. Hit that thumbs up on the YouTube.
Yep.
Share us all over the Twitter and the universe.
Subscribe. Every little bit helps us out, guys. It really, really does. And you can find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio app, Spotify, YouTube. We're everywhere.
Everything.
Everywhere you want to be.
Yeah, so thank you again. This was the Hub on Hollywood. I'm James.
I'm Jamie. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye. That was cool.